Shalom, again, first and foremost, I want to give all praises and all glory to the true and living power, which is Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Rakah, Kwadash. Yahweh is the true name of the Heavenly Father. Yahweh Shai is the true name of His only begotten Son, and there is no God beside them. And I want to give double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone, who definitely rule well, who have taught us this truth, and honors and citations to the elect. So this is just a response to Apostle Tar's lesson going into these guys, IUIC, trying to break down Revelation, right, the 13th chapter, which they're breaking it down wrong. Okay, and my pretty much to add my 2 cents, I would like to know why these guys don't go into the words, you know, when they break down Revelation 13 and when they break down the MOTB. So, because when you get into the words, you can't get around it. You can't get around the fact that the MOTB is the chip, you know, and there's nothing else. And this is Revelation 13:16, and He calls of all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads. And we can see this playing out through the punch. We see it playing out through the punch, which is the red carpet for the real MOTB, right before our eyes. You know, the small and great gotta get it. Great figures, okay, down to all the small people who don't even really matter, and then even up to the great, your judges, your doctors, your cops, celebrities, NBA players, right? Everybody is being forced to take this punch. It says rich and poor. That's right, a bum on the street. These are news articles you could look up. There's news articles about them trying to get the punch in bums, even all the way up to your rich. Kyrie Irving denying millions of dollars, but everybody's forced to get it. It says free and bond. Yeah, they're even forcing it in the prison systems, man. So no matter who you are, no matter what's your status, no matter how much money you got, you are going to be forced to take the MOTB, which is the chip. And we see the forerunner paving the way for it. Right? These guys is going the hell off, man. But ultimately, this is all the Lord's will. The deceived and the deceiver are His. So pretty much you got the bad role in this movie of teaching wrong doctrine. So let's go into these words, man. When you look up to receive a mark, which the Greek word for the mark, Greek word for the word there, mark, is charagma. And charagma is what? A stamp and imprinted mark. Of the mark stamped on the forehead or the right hand as the badge of the followers of the anti-Messiah. Okay? So, it's ultimately, the charagma is an imprinted badge, man. It's an imprinted badge. Let's look up this word here, imprinted. Let's get the right context. It says an imprint is a mark or outline made by the pressure of one object on another. If a surface is imprinted with a mark or design, that mark or design is printed on the surface or pressed into it. See? Imprinted. A badge that's going to be pressed into your surface, which the surface in this case is going to be your body. The surface is your skin. And the mark or the badge is going to be pressed into your skin. That's the surface. And when you get that mark pressed into your skin, you are now in alliance with the N.W.O, because that is going to be your badge. That's your badge of servitude, man. And I forget what movie it was. Man. But I think they were time traveling, and they went into like the future, and he went to like a hot dog stand, and he tried to pay for something with cash, and when he got scanned, it set off an alarm because he didn't have he wasn't chipped. He didn't have his badge, man. Just like if you go into a hospital or something, you can't walk in the hospital, in certain parts of the hospital, without a badge. They're gonna kick you out. You're not a part of that system if you don't have the badge, man, to show forth your identity. So this is the badge. The RFID chip is going to be the badge to his N.W.O. And this badge, in order to receive it, is going to have to be pressed into your surface, man. And what's going to press it into your surface? Well, when you look at the word, when you go back to the origin, it says from the same as G5482, which is Karax. So Karagma goes back to the word Karax. And the Karax is a pale or a stake, a palisade. Alright, now. Alright, so this badge is going to be pressed into you through the Karax. And the word there for Karax, it says a pale or stake or palisade. And now, so when you look up the pale, stake, or palisade, this is a stake. So it's going to be pressed into you through a stake, which John the Revelator, he didn't know the word, a syringe, okay, at the time. So, and that's a case with a lot of these breakdowns, man. It's them explaining things from the future, with things in their time to match the things that they seen in the future to the best of their ability. When the prophet saw the thermonuclear missiles, they called them arrows. So, and when you look up the syringe, look, it's the same. It looks like the same exact thing. It's like the same exact thing, man. So this is what's going to be. This is the Karax ultimately. This is ultimately the Karax. And then the RFID chip is the mark, the Karagma. Right? And this is the palisade, which, as you can see, is just spikes pressing into the ground. So it's the same, what they call it, notion, if I'm saying the right word. It's the same concept of this being planted into your skin. See, this is why we go into the words, which was taught here at GMS, man, through the apostles, man. Okay? So the Karagma being the mark, being the badge, being imprinted into you by the Karax, which is a pale or stake. Okay? And then as we continue to read, so come on, man. It says, and that no man might buy or sell save he that had the mark or the name of the beast or the number of his name. And that's plain, because this infrastructure that we see happening before our eyes It went from just cash to card to the card to swiping your card, right? From cash to swiping the card to putting a chip inside the card to inserting it, and now it's tapping it. So what's next? Put the chip in you, and you tap the infrastructure, man, of these that's placed in these different stores, and that's how you're gonna be able to buy or sell. Okay, I mean, come on, it's not. It doesn't take a rocket science to figure this out, man. But hey, the scriptures speak upon that. Some are blinded. Right, so verse 18, as it continues to go on to getting into these words, it says, "Here is wisdom. Let him that hath understanding count the number of the beast, for it is the number of a man, and his number is 636. So when you go into 636, which is the number of his name, is Shai, Psi, Stigma. And then when you go into the Greek word, all right, of stigma, it says a mark prick. So it's plain, a mark pricked in or branded upon the body. So that's plain. So it's all set up for the stigma. You know, once you get the mark, which is the charagma, pricked in you by the karax, that's the stigma. The number of his name. You ultimately gonna have the number of his name then. See? A mark pricked in or branded upon the body. To ancient Oriental usage, slaves and soldiers bore the name or the stamp of their master or commander, branded or pricked, meaning cut into their bodies to indicate what master or general they belong to. See that? See? So the same the so-called man wants the same thing for his N.W.O. Not to mention all the other things all the other power he's gonna have over you by taking his chip. It says, and there were even some devotees who stamped themselves in this way with the token of their gods. And it says, from a primary word, stizo, to stick, that is prick. See? Hey, when you got stuck, when you get that needle, you get stuck. So it's the same thing. You get pricked. It's literally the same wording. It says a mark incised or punched. See? Incised. That's a needle. For recognition of ownership. That is figuratively scar of service. So, I mean, come on, man. It has everything to do with something being pricked or punched into you. And it has nothing to do with small nations and great nations coming to the UN. You know, and like what these guys are talking about, man. So, this is the correct breakdown, man. Through the Spirit and Power, Yahweh Shema Shai, through the apostles and elders of Great Millstone, man. Okay, who are the real leaders of Israel. So, Lord willing is edifying. And with that, I'm going to say Shalom.